What's good, everybody? Welcome into Prime Time Early Edge. Tonight, we start Week 5 of the National Football League season. But before we get to that, we start today with a tip of the cap to one of the great, and I mean great, NFL players of all time. The great Dick Butkus passed away today at the age of 80. One of the great linebackers for the Chicago Bears. You talk about tough. I had the honor of working with him during the first XFL 22 years ago in 2001. So to the family of Dick Butkus, and if you're too young to remember, look this guy up on YouTube. What an absolute beast. Now, tonight, it's apropos, I think, that those same Chicago Bears, that Dick Butkus just patrolled the middle of the field, and he wanted no part of anybody that was scared of him. He would roll right over you. They take on the Commanders tonight. Washington, so many different stats, so many different angles. So let's bring in the stars of the show. And you know them, you love them, the absolute best crew in the business. And look at this. Oh, we go 6 wide on a Thursday. EC is here. The counselor is here. Proppy is here. My 5-tool player, AB, is here. And Coach Phil, bringing the X's and O's, is also here. But real quick, 2 things. EC, you're on Liberty minus 21. Are you not?
I am.
Good start. 10-7, Sam Houston State. See ya, Najad. I'm only the messenger. But Buckets is in the chat. And he texted me 2 minutes ago. He says, Coach, if you don't say something, I'm going to. You lost your showdown to Buckets. Not only did you lose your showdown, you lost it to the guy that you just threw in as a nobody. Oh, you can have it. What are your thoughts, Sia?
Yeah, I lost to Barnes ultimately. Ricky Barnes at plus 550. Like, listen, here's the reality. I did the noble thing here because he was taking the bet and he wasn't really on the right side of it. I still had my minus 115 against both of those guys. You know me. I'm all about honor. I'm all about nobility. And Barnes ended up taking the thing. Barnes and Noble, one of my favorite places. See, it all comes back together. I'm happy Buckets won this one. I'm sad for the people who took this bet like I did. It was just one of those bets where really we should have won it. I mean, there's no reason Steven Yeager should be tied for 92nd in this field. It's actually crazy. But it's golf. There's variance in golf, period.
Hey, counselor, that's what you get for picking against my classmate who was there when I was there at the University of Arizona, Ricky Barnes.
Bro, you don't get to brag about a guy you went to school with when you went to a school with 50,000 people. He's not a classmate. He was on campus at the same time. That's it. All right, gentlemen, we got to get into it because we got a big one tonight. Because I've seen a lot of negativity today. Oh, it's the Bears. It's the Commanders. This is going to be a bad Thursday night game. Well, when you look at it as a bad opportunity, Alex, what do we call it at the early edge?
A propertunity, Coach.
A propertunity all over the place. And all 6 of us, well, all 5 of us have plays tonight. And my man, Coach Phil, brings us strong every single time. You know how we do it. We start with the keys to the game. Coach Phil, you're up first.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Coach. We're talking about the Chicago Bears going on the road to face the 2-2 Washington Commanders now. Okay, the Bears haven't won a game yet. We all understand that. And I think the number one key to this game is keep Justin Fields confident. All right, he's coming off a performance where he's 28 of 35 for 335 and 4 scores, all career highs, but then you hear reports that he stayed in his locker in uniform for 30 minutes and was dejected. So it's the coach's staff's job to get this guy going in a short week because he has, in my opinion, this guy has great tools. All right. We're quick to write people off, but he's utilizing his weapons. DJ Moore had 8 for 131 and a touchdown. We had Cole Kmet's getting involved. He had 7 for 85 and 2 scores. So he utilizes those guys. We know Chase Claypool, the young and the restless, he's not available. Another soap opera situation with him. We don't know what's going on, but not having him, he's got to rely heavily on those 2 targets. But everyone's been negative about Justin Fields, and I would take this guy. I like him personally. He's a good player. He's got some of the most explosive finishing runs since Michael Vick was playing quarterback. He's shown to throw the ball better than most people have expected. So I like this guy, and he cares. He really, really cares. We're in a society right now where you think that the guy needs to be ready right away. There's not Amazon Prime developing quarterbacks, okay? They're going to take a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying, EC? All right, so we understand what's going on with Fields. He sees a guy who tore his bicep tendon putting an Apple iPhone iGen Generation 1 AirPod in his ear. So, guys like this are always dumping on these freaks, but they have to shut these naysayers out and continue to press forward because he's a great young guy. And the three things they need to do is pass pro, an efficient run game, and have a defense that limits somebody to 17 to 21 points per game, leading me into my second point. The Bears are 28th overall in defense. And we talked about Dick Butkus to open the show. They went right to Mike Singletary, to Brian Urlacher, to even Roquan Smith. This has always been a monster of the midway, terrifying place to play as an offense. They're just not there right now. And that's what a young quarterback really needs. They've had 2 sacks on a year. All right. Howell's gone down 24 times. All right. So they have to make some sacks today and create some pressures. All right. Jaleel McLaughlin, my Irish cousin here in Denver, and he ran for 10 yards a carry. So they got to shore up that run defense. I think the 70% pass completion is a little concerning, and then they're just not getting off the field on third down. They're 32nd, so that's going to lead to a problematic outcome almost every time. In my opinion, the lack of pressure is directly correlated to the passing stats, and historically, these Bears have had great defense, so they have to improve. Flipping sides and going over to Washington, we have to understand something about Washington. Their secondary is not what it has been in the past. They lost Chris Harris. He went over to the Tennessee Titans. He was their secondary coach, one of the best. He was a Bears defensive safety, one of the best secondary coaches in the league. They're allowing 114 QBRs to wide receivers. They got to keep DJ Moore under wraps. That's just the reality of it. Montrezl Sweat, Payne, Allen, Chase Young, they got to create pressures. And the second point, the last point, keys to victory is the Sam Howell experience. I mean, he's been great against the Eagles in the second half, and they were really close to pulling that upset off. Then he throws 4 picks against the Buffalo Bills. So I think he's a good young signal caller. I'm high on this guy. He's got the qualities and traits you're looking for, but you got to keep him upright. Like we said, league leading 24 sacks. All right. It's just a guy you need to give time and consistency in the pocket. And if they can control the ball, not turn it over, that's going to be the key to the Washington Commanders' victory tonight.
If any of you out there think for a second that you know any of that you just heard the last couple of minutes, you are out of your mind. And Andrew, if you just want a show that just throws picks out, go somewhere else. That's not this show. We go X's and O's and we feed into the picks because knowledge is power. That's how you get picks done, not just coming on and throwing picks out. That's old school. Go somewhere else. And thank you all for handling that in the chat for me. As Tone said, Coach Phil was preaching. Now, I'm going to start with the love for Justin Fields. And tonight, if he's going to have another game like he had last week, seeing Najad, he's going to need some guys to help him. Start us off.
Yeah, he's going to need DJ Moore. Honestly, I think Darnell Mooney might get into the mix too. We know Cole Kmet can be a target monster. But listen, 2 things here. I have my pick. It's longest reception over 21.5 yards at -120. But I do just want to say, I know Larry Hartstein, Maestro, was on his over of, I think, 49.5 receiving yards. I like that as well. It's at 52.5 right now. I still like it. But here's the reality. He's hit this in the last 3 games, and I'm talking about the longest reception. He's gone over 21.5 as his longest reception in the last 3 games. And by the way, he's getting volume. It's not like he's doing this the Darnell Mooney way, where he's only getting 3 or 4 targets. Last game, he caught 8 of 9 targets for 131. The game before that, 3 of 6 targets for 41 yards. But by the way, not only did he hit the longest reception prop in that game with only 41 yards, but he dropped an absolute dime from Justin Fields that would have been at least a 50-yard game. The game before that, he caught 6 of 7 targets for 104 yards. This is a guy that's being targeted in the short field area, but also downfield. You've got a vulnerable defense, just like Phil was talking about. I see the longest reception being over 21.5 yards. I like all things DJ Moore, if I'm being honest.
I think this is going to cash in the first half. The Washington defense, let me check my notes to make sure I got this correct. The Commanders have allowed 13 plays of at least 25 yards this season. That's tied for the most in the NFL. This is going to cash. Now, I love the over tonight. I absolutely love the over. Washington is allowing 30 points a game, and the Bears defense is just about as bad. So if I'm leading into the over, Proppy, then I got to go to the other side of the ball too. I know you have 3 big plays. Let's have them.
Yeah, we do, Coach. Indeed. So I'll try to keep the analysis brief on them. But starting with Sam Howell, over 12.5 rushing yards. Love this spot for Sam Howell. Coach Phil mentioned him. I'm very bullish on this guy as well. I think he has a lot of the traits of an NFL starting quarterback, a good one at that as well. This is only his 5th career start, so I think it's important to keep expectations in check. He's still learning the nuances of the position. But, yeah, he had 6 carries for 40 yards last week against the Eagles. Coach Phil mentioned 24 sacks this season. He's on pace for an NFL record 108 sacks. That is a huge number, obviously. One of the ways to offset that is by making quicker decisions. He's kind of playing hero ball. He's standing in the pocket and trying to allow these routes to develop deep down the field, and as a result, he's getting sacked a lot. I think you can offset that by making quicker decisions, relying on his above-average athleticism and mobility. I also think we might see a couple designed runs tonight, but at 13 rushing yards, you don't need any designed runs. He can get this within the flow of the game because he does rely on his legs, averaging 20 rushing yards per game. Then we're going to go to Cole Kmet. I like him under 15.5 yards for his longest reception. One thing with this Commanders defense, the strength of this defense is they're very good covering opposing tight ends. I often think that these matchup stats against specific positions can often be arbitrary. Not in this case. This is something that's carried over from last season. The Commanders are very good at slowing down opposing tight ends. Last season, second in the NFL, only allowing 36 yards to the position per game. This season, they've given up 81 yards to tight ends all year. That is around 20 yards per game. So they cover tight ends very well. A lot of it has to do with their linebackers can cover, and they have very good safety play as well. Looking at you, Cameron Curl and Jamon Davis, who's also a very good coverage linebacker. So Cole Kmet has a 6.83 ADOT. He is running his routes very close to the line of scrimmage. That's 34th amongst all tight ends who qualify. I like the chances of holding him in check and also not allowing him to have a 16-yard reception. And then last but not least, my favorite prop tonight is Terry McLaurin over 59.5 receiving yards. I think he's fully healthy. This number, in my opinion, is suppressed because early on in the year, he was dealing with a turf toe injury where he didn't quite look 100%. Looks to be 100% to me. Looked very impressive last week against the Eagles. 8 catches, 86 yards. I believe he had 5 or 6 first downs as well. Had a couple big defensive pass interference penalties that he drew as well. Sam Howell was getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He was the first read on a lot of those targets. So I love Terry McLaurin tonight. I think he's in line for a big game. No Jalen Johnson, no Eddie Jackson. Those are probably the Bears' 2 best defensive players, certainly the 2 best players in their secondary. So I love Terry McLaurin's chances of having a big game tonight. Love him over 60 yards.
Hey, Proppy, can you ask Sia if he thinks Terry McLaurin was in bounds last Sunday, perhaps?
In Cousin Sia.
Yeah, he was. I mean, doesn't everybody know that? We've established this, right? That he was in bounds. Like, is this even a point in controversy? It's the Commanders. They don't get the calls. That's just
not true.
It was against Proppy's team, so I don't know how Proppy feels about it.
I'll take what I can get, Coach.
So you believe he was in too? I love it.
Ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
The ball don't lie. Neither does the big toe. Neither does the big toe. All right. See ya. Unbelievable analysis. Proppy, same damn thing. Now, I think I'm going to go next because right now EC is just sitting over there grinding, knowing he should have played the over in the Liberty game because it's 14-10 to start the second quarter. Liberty scored a touchdown. That's good for you, EC. I've got 2 big plays, and honestly, I should have 4 or 5 after doing my next level capping for this game tonight. So I'm going to go Bears team total over 19.5. Washington's allowing 30 points a game. The Bears had 28, in the third quarter last week. They're starting to get that offense going. All I need is for them to score over 19.5. Are you serious? They're going to get over 25 tonight. Easy. Then Justin Fields. I said this morning on the Early Edge, the award-winning morning show that we have, he would go over 100 yards tonight. There is no more, let's experiment. They are 0-4. They have to put their best foot forward, and that means Justin Fields and his legs and arm get it done tonight. I think Justin Fields has another big game tonight. Now, EC, let me come to you because you sort of agree with Counselor, but then you also, with your 2 picks, I would think you like the over, right? Because it's hard to have props on both sides of the fence.
Well, I can find ways to do that, Coach. I mean, you got to get creative. Let's be honest here. This game last year, remember, it was a Thursday night game in October, and the final score, as Sia well remembers, 12-7. One of the worst games, I think, of the 2022 season. So I don't know where we're getting 40-some points out of a game that was 7-3 at the end of 3 quarters last year. But hey, that's okay. Nonetheless, I'm going to start with a prop on MGM that has DJ Moore more receiving yards than Jahan Dotson straight up at -130. So I'm getting the Bears' number 1 receiver against the Commanders' number 2, who, by the way, is battling an ankle injury. Moore has a 20.7% target share. He has the 3rd most deep targets among all wide receivers in the NFL. and a 34% first read share against zone, which the Commanders primarily play. He already has 2 100-plus yards games already. And by the way, Dotson hasn't topped 40 yards in all 4 games. So what are we doing here? Am I missing something? So I'm riding with Sia's pick against his team, going with DJ Moore receiving yards compared to Jahan Dotson at minus 130 on MGM. And then I think the big player tonight, the MVP of tonight's game, will be Brian Robinson, the running back for the Commanders, who is over 65.5 rushing yards at minus 110. So he's averaging 15 carries for 65 yards a game, but he's facing the Bears, who gave up 73 to Rachaad White and how many to 72 to McLaughlin, as Phil mentioned earlier in Denver after Javonte Williams got hurt. Like, this is not a very good run defense. There should be positive game script with the Commanders winning. I mean, and also another thing that I would bet on top of this, if you want to throw in a parlay, which I will never turn down, the Bears have surrendered 8 total touchdowns to running backs thus far. Now, the juice was too high on MGM for me at minus 175 with a Robinson anytime touchdown. If you're doing a parlay, might be a good addition.
Joe says, Ruh-roh, EC is about my Brian Robinson. That means it's not going to cash. Wow,
Coach,
EC.
I almost challenged you to a showdown, and I'm gonna hold off. I was gonna take Liberty's team total tonight over the total in the game tonight, the Bears and Commanders combined. That I think Liberty will score more.
That would have been stupid. And B, I wouldn't have done it because I already played the Liberty team total myself. I'm a next level capper, kid. I'm so far ahead of where you're at right now. And oh, by the way, the fact that me and C are here tonight, as healthy as we are, you hadn't even commented on the video that I put out on Monday. I mean, it's so unlike you not to point that out. Did you all see the video?
I did,
no.
yeah.
I saw it.
No,
yes.
I just went over. I just looking for the comments in the thread. That's my favorite part.
Now, we're about to the part of the show where you really better pay attention. You better have your paper like I do, because I take notes on everything, and I'm in the damn show. But when I have AB and Coach Phil ready to go, but I got one single solitary question, because I told you all that we should have had one more play on the show, didn't I? One more play, and it should be the Commanders team total over 25.5 points. And somebody in the chat just pointed it out. Can anybody tell me why that is a lock tonight? Anybody? Oh, nobody did their homework tonight on this one. That's because the
25 points, 14 straight consecutive games. 25 plus points, 14 consecutive games.
Normally if you look into the camera, then you wouldn't give away that you just looked it up right now on your computer.
No, I knew that.
No, I did that. He's exactly right. 14 straight games. The Bears have allowed at least 25 points. That's the longest streak in NFL history. But yet none of us played over 25.5 tonight. Crazy. Maybe I should just make an official play right now. Maybe I'll do that. AB, you don't even need to put it on the screen. I'm making an official play. Commanders over 25.5. Boom.
I was just letting the experts have their first go at it, these experts. And then, I just chime in when I'm needed,
I understand. I'm still reeling from the shot you took at EC about 15 minutes ago. All right. Now, we've got 2 quarterbacks tonight. Great athletes. Sometimes they make questionable decisions. AB, I'm going to back off. Floor is yours, big boy.
Thank you, sir. Well, I was going to start with, did you guys know that the Commanders have scored? No, I'm kidding. I was going to start with that. That would have been good, though. All right, let me give you my picks real quick, and then we're going to jump into the no-fly zone here. So we've got 3 plays. We're going to roll. First off, Bears team total touchdowns over 2.5 at plus 160. I think that they're going to have success tonight offensively. It's going to be a little chaos theory here, but, Coach, I'm right there with you in regards to Chicago. Next, Bears, Commanders over 8.5 punts at minus 115. That's both teams here. And the Bears, Commanders over 2.5 turnovers at minus 115. Now, the reason why we're playing punts is because these 2 teams are below 30 minutes average game time of possession, and 2 of the higher teams in the NFL at putting punts in the air. And the reason for that is I'm going to show you in this and why we are playing turnovers as well. And over 2.5 turnovers counts for both teams, interceptions, fumbles, you name it. Now, let's jump to the no-fly zone. Start with our man, Justin Fields here. Now, take a look here. If this is your first time looking at the no-fly zone, top left, Commanders, secondary, pass completion percentage rankings across the NFL. Bottom left, Justin Fields, his interception splits this season. And then on the right is just Justin Fields as a whole. Now, you've seen he's thrown 7 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. Okay. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, bottom left, 100% of his interceptions have come on his side of the field. 80% have come in the fourth quarter. It means Chicago playing from behind in bad field position. So if you take a look at the top right, look, Justin Fields will have success, but there are danger zones all over the field. Short left, short right, trouble area, short middle, trouble, deep middle. 0.0 is his average. It's terrible. He cannot do it deep right as well. There is trouble all over the place. There's a reason why he's thrown 5 interceptions. Now, let's jump to the other one, Sam Howell here. A little bit different. Here is every single pass that he has thrown this season. Now, before we take a look at that, bottom left, third down, 60% of his 5 interceptions this year. Playing from behind, 80% of his interceptions this year. I say both of those to say this. The team that is winning on third down is going to be the team that wins tonight. Whoever can get the other team in third and long is going to win this game, because both of these quarterbacks on third downs will chuck the ball in the air and turn it over, and all hell will break loose. So pay attention to third downs tonight. But you see Sam Howell here, all right? Not bad. That being said, this is a 15 yards and in offense, as a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL obviously are. That being said, his interceptions all over the field. His completions all over the field. But his incompletions are middle of the field and to his right. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to any deep shots, because you see he doesn't take them almost at all. That being said, when he does, he has connected on a TD, and this Bears secondary has trouble areas.
I ask you one very, very simple question. Do you want to do the work? Coach Phil, what do you make of the no-fly zone tonight?
Yeah, so looking at Fields, I mean, I thought that was an unbelievable graphic talking about making those tight window throws, being a little bit more aggressive, and then throwing picks, when you were behind. You just have to. You have to sit there and try to fit balls into windows that you normally would not try to fit balls into, because of the danger that obviously it encapsulates when you make those tough decisions. But when you're down, you have to make those decisions. So I think that was right on and spot on. And almost with a young quarterback, I'll take 1 pick a game if he's going to throw 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's just the way his progression is. Eventually he'll cut those down, but 1 a game at this stage of his career, a half an interception, average over the course of the season, that would be something to be proud of. Moving over to Howell. All right, looking at Howell, I mean, it's a little different for me because of where he is on the ground 24 times, being sacked, and being the most pressured quarterback in the NFL at this point. So anytime, we've talked about this week in and week out, that pass rush is going to lead to picks. So that's clear and obvious that's a factor and a variable that you need to consider when you're talking about Sam Howell and his interceptions. And then again, same thing would apply when you're on third down. You need to pick up the first down. It's 3rd and 7, right? So you're going to try to fit a ball in there, and that's when you're trying to be aggressive when turnovers can happen.
Next level, ladies and gentlemen, next level. Now, we've got a few numbers got to get to, because a lot of people want to play other players we haven't talked about. Proppy, I'm coming to you first. Chat question, Mooney over 31.5, -110. What kind of a night does he have tonight?
I'd lean over on it, specifically because I think that it's going to be difficult to complete passes to Komet because of the strength of this Commanders defense, especially on the back end. I think it'll put Mooney in some advantageous positions, as long as Kendall Fuller, who's been really good this season, is not covering him, should be able to go over that. I'd lean over.
Cole Komet, speaking of that, counselor, last week he had a monster game, including little foreshadowing, 2 scores for the Bears. But tonight his numbers are 3.5, 32.5, and the juice isn't crazy. Your thoughts on Cole Komet?
Yeah, I'd probably lean to the over in receptions there. I do think he's going to be operating in the short area. I think guys like DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney might have big games here. I'm looking at longest receptions there and total yards there as well. But I don't know that I'm going to go to Komet's yards. If anything, I'd go to his over in receptions. But it's shaky for me.
Very, very shaky. EC, let me come to you. Let's go on the other side. We've talked about Terry McLaurin, but when you look at other guys, there's names like Dotson. You like DJ Moore over him, but somebody else has got to catch passes for Washington tonight. Who do you think that's going to be?
Well, I think you can look at Logan Thomas there, Coach. I mean, I don't know, if Washington utilizes the tight end as much as they should, but Logan Thomas, former quarterback, started out in Arizona and has become a decent, solid tight end. I don't know if the Bears will have an answer for him over the middle. So I think Logan Thomas, if you're going to look at overs, probably in the 25 to 30-yard range, you can take a sprinkle on that. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
I kind of like it. AB, let me come over to you because we have other quarterback props. We've only talked about legs tonight with Sam Howell, interceptions, and Justin Fields, and interceptions. But what about yardage? I almost made this an official pick. And I know Justin Fields, the 335 was out of character. Or maybe, as Coach Phil said, he's getting a little bit better by the week. He's under 200 tonight, 192.5 for Justin Fields tonight.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to say this. I would take the over on Justin Fields. Now, I do like his rushing props. Do not get me wrong. I like those. However, he's going to have to throw. And I think that you're going to see a Bears offense come out aggressive because what do you have to lose? You're 0-4, all right? And not only for Justin Fields, but every single player on the field, every single coach on the staff understands that when you are 0-4, buddy, all eyes on you from up top, and it is not a good look at all. So there's no point to come out and say, all right, well, we're going to try to have a 9-play, 10-play drive and kick a field goal. No, you got to put in touchdowns, man. You're going to have to do it. So I'm all in on Fields overs. I think that he honestly goes all out for it.
Yeah, I already played
it. The more that he goes down, the better shot that you have.
I agree. Anybody else? Because this show goes so fast and my guys are so good, we've already crossed the top of the hour. So anybody have anybody else they want to talk about? We've given out our best bets, but we got to get to the gym. We'll recap. A lot of you drop in at 8 o'clock. We get that. We'll do our best bets again as well. Anybody have anything else pressing we haven't talked about? Let's start with EC, and then I'll come to you, Proppy.
Yeah, running back situation for the Bears. Who's going to get the majority of the work? Is it going to be Khalil Herbert once again, or is it going to be Rashawn Johnson? At some point, Rashawn Johnson, I think, has the talent to take over this backfield. Is it tonight? Probably not. But if you look at his props, if you can get maybe his combined yardage around 40, maybe not a bad sprinkle late in the game, passing back.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Proppy, talk to me.
I was going to touch on Rashawn Johnson, but yeah, this is going to be his backfield eventually, sooner than later. It's going to be a headache in the meantime. Could see him flip-flop week to week with Khalil Herbert, who gets more touches. He had more touches the week previous. Herbert, however, did dominate touches last week, had an efficient game as well. I like Rashawn Johnson discounted tonight, not as an official play, just because it could be the Herbert show again, but I definitely am bullish on Johnson long term. I think he's a very talented back with a 3-down skill set.
His number is 22.5 tonight. So you would like that as the backup, 22.5?
I'd lean over on it. I don't like it as an official play, but I'd lean over on it.
Okay. All right.
Coach,
by the way,
yeah,
AB, go.
Down here in the gambling cave here, all right, what we're looking to bet on tonight, over on holding calls. It is going to be a holding call bonanza on both offensive lines. Keep an eye on that one for sure. There's going to be some long second and third down.
All right. Very, very good. All right. Trillion says, first touchdowns. You guys are amazing. Let us get to it. I promise you we will get to it. And for the last time, we are not doing, and there's a reason for it. We're not doing the goose. We're not doing the donkey. We're not doing same game parlays on the show. We're just not doing it. So don't ask me anymore in the chat about those. We're not doing it. All right.
You said pull a Nick Saban. Quit asking.
Well, you have to tell, because they're so good. They'll tell you, it's an incredible chat. But it's the same guys asking over. We're not doing it. Stop. Now, what we are going to do now is tell you that we are 2 past the hour, 8 o'clock. This is the Early Edge. All of our odds are presented by the king of all sportsbooks, BetMGM. We are powered by the almighty SportsLine. Now, just because we're serious and we work a lot and all of us are 24/7 does not mean we can't have a good time, especially me and the counselor. Now, EC, I know it drove you nuts because last Saturday you lose a showdown to me and it wasn't close. And then Monday night, I told you that if I got in the club, I would be insufferable. So, counselor, out of respect for you, you get to go first, but then I guess I got to be a little bullish and go second, I guess. I don't know. All right.
Well, we got to be, Coach, we got to be quick because we got to be done to go to the club and watch the game, obviously. So it's very understandable to everyone. So here's the thing. Before I give my gem out, I just want to give a quick shout out to Curtis Samuel and how he might actually get the first touchdown. But just keep him in mind, like from a DFS standpoint, and they really scheme for him. The enemy schemes for him specifically. He got a lot of work last week. But my gem here is going to be Logan Thomas. EC mentioned him earlier, former quarterback at Virginia Tech, a big, strong guy. He's healthy. He's off of his concussion. He played last week, 6'6", 260 pounds. This battered Bears secondary is going to be worried about so many things, whether it be Curtis Samuel or Jahan Dotson or, of course, Terry McLaurin. I could see Logan Thomas being in the short area, just easily catching a touchdown with barely any coverage on him. Logan Thomas plus 1,500. That's my gem.
It's a pretty good pixie. I respect it from a fellow person in the club. Now, I waited today because sometimes I like to challenge myself. And it's not just easy to put in the first play of the game, like send the text or the email at 9 o'clock this morning. Who would do that? But I waited to see what else you guys would pick. I said, you know what? I'll pick 5th or 6th. And you guys still screwed up. Cole Kmet, you already said it, Phil. 2 touchdowns last week. And tonight, from the 14-yard line, because I still want Proppy to cash, of course. Oh, let's look over the middle, and he's going to score again. And there's going to be another guy throwing him a pitch, fake hit, throwing him a pitch, just like last week. Look up the video. How did you guys all miss this? 2-time cashing of the ticket. You're welcome, America. Cole Kmet, plus 1,200. Now, just because he's shaking his head, he's so angry right now. EC. Oh, the floor is yours. Take all the time you need, brother.
There's not a lot of time I need to take on this one. I am not chalk chasing like some of you. I won't name any names. But I'm going to go with an 18-1 shot, and that's Sam Howell, the Commanders quarterback, to rush one in. Hey, listen, he started 5 games in the NFL and has 2 rushing touchdowns, and I refuse to take the chalk. I'm going to take as far away from 10-1 as I can get, at least for the next few. So I'm going to stand by that. Let's go, Sam Howell. Steal the touchdown from Brian Robinson, who's on my big fantasy team. Why not?
How disrespectful to take a direct shot at Coach Phil. All right. I guess, Coach Phil, I'm going to let you respond.
Hey, it is what it is. I just see the jealousy in his eyes. It's no big deal because what's going to happen this week, I see my man, the counselor. I love this guy, coaching me for 20 years. I'm going to get inside my Terry McLaurin, go right to valet, and meet you guys in the club.
I can't believe nobody's asked for receipts yet from that one. I don't know. All I know is that email was quick this morning. But even though Proppy didn't get in first, boy, I'm also shocked that you guys let Proppy have this one because he could be joining us tonight. A very good chance. Proppy, explain yourself.
Yeah, DJ Moore here. Obviously, an elite target profile. That's air yard share. That's his target share. Justin Fields, certainly his favorite target. The Washington Commanders defense is vulnerable on the back end. Coach, you mentioned they give up a lot of big plays down the field. DJ Moore has a proclivity for making big plays. If you meet DJ Moore, you actually find us at plus 1,500 right now.
This is a great night because the sports books don't know how the game is going to go. So we're getting great numbers on both sides of the fence, which is awesome. Somebody's going to hit tonight. AB, could it be you?
I'll tell you this. Justin Fields, as Coach Phil mentioned, sat there for 30 minutes in his uniform, pissed off, upset. All right? I respect Justin Fields, and I understand that a man like that, he's prideful, and he wants to win, and he wants to get better, meaning he is going to take the ball tonight, especially with everything with Dick Butkus and everything around that franchise. He's going to say, put it on my shoulders. I'm a leader. I'm meant to be this guy tonight. He's coming out of a cannon tonight, boy. Justin Fields is bringing heat. Let me get him at plus 1,100.
Well, the last time me and AB popped some bottles and hung out at the club, we bought hot dogs at 3 a.m. So, AB, the hot dogs are on me tonight if you cash that ticket, big boy. Hot dogs.
Coach, I'll tell you what, that's a deal. And for anyone who didn't hear it, 3 a.m., there was a line, 1, for hot dogs, 2, Coach's autograph and a picture. I am not lying. It was fantastic.
It was a little awkward for me. I'm going to be honest, a little awkward.
The dude turns around and goes, Coach?
No. All right.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say nothing.
We've only got a few minutes left, and then we're going to get the hell out of Dodge and enjoy this game tonight and cash some tickets. So let's throw those picks up there on the screen, AB. I need 1 or 2 lines max on why these are your best bets. I encourage you all, get them in right now, especially those of you who came in top of the hour at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Proppy, start with you.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin over 59.5 receiving yards, looks to be 100% healthy after that early season turf toe, which clearly he was operating at less than 100%. The Bears have an atrocious secondary. They're going to be without their 2 best players in Jalen Johnson and Eddie Jackson as well, like his chances to have a big night. Then we're going to go Sam Howell over 12.5 rushing yards. He has above average athleticism for a quarterback. He's been relying on his legs more and more. I think he has to make quick decisions. That's going to involve taking off if his first read is covered. And then last but not least, Cole Kmet under 15.5 yards, longest reception. These Commanders actually cover tight ends extremely well. He's running most of his routes close to the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to have a hard time making a big splash play tonight.
How long do you want that first touchdown to be to Cole Kmet? 11, 12? That good?
Sure, Coach.
That'll work. Counselor, you're up.
DJ Moore, longest reception, over 21.5 yards. Really like this one. He's hit it in 3 of the 3 last games here. And he's going against a vulnerable defense and a likely negative game script. Give me the over of his longest reception.
All right. And the Maestro's on Bears +7. Remember, some of these plays, they're all given out at SportsLine, and the times of the day are on there. That's why we try to beat the number. I know some of you saying, oh, McLaren's less. We put it in early today, so it makes it in for the game. Not necessarily, it's not an official play, so come on. So Maestro's on the Bears +7. DJ Moore over 49.5 receiving yards, a little above that. Amax also validates Proppy's pick on Sam Howell. So EC, talk to me.
I love that Sam Howell prop, by the way. Great job with that one, Proppy, and also Amags. I'm on DJ Moore receiving yards or more than Jahan Dotson. The Bears' number 1 receiver against the Commanders' number 2 is battling an ankle injury. Seems too easy. And then Brian Robinson over 65.5 rushing yards. He's averaging 15 carries for 65 yards a game. The Bears' run defense isn't very good.
I love the new different bets that BetMGM has, like the Moore over Jahan Dotson, so many different ways. Bears team total over 19.5. Simply put, Washington, they're allowing 30 points a game. Justin Fields tonight is a must-win. He's going to use everything in his arsenal, including his legs, and he's a beast when he runs. Let's go over 49.5 rush yards. AB, bring us home.
Yep, you're right. Bears must win. That's why we're taking up total touchdowns over 2.5 at +160. Then we're going to play over 2.5 turnovers and over 8.5 punts. Sorry, it says 2.5. It's 8.5 there. I can't spell or write, but what I do know is that it's going to be a mess tonight as well. So there you go.
All right. Those are all of our best bets for Thursday Night Football. Do not forget, we are here every single primetime night, Thursday night, Sunday nights, and Monday nights. You guys know that we like to end every one of our specialty shows asking my cappers, the absolute best in the business, what's the number one most important thing they're looking forward to. Use this information for tonight or into the future. It matters. Hashtag knowledge is power. EC, start us off.
Well, I just want to see a competitive game, Coach, so Al Michaels actually pays attention throughout the whole game, because last year it did not go so well in the matchup between these two teams.
Would you care to have a showdown on over 19 as a total, since you love to brag about that?
Pass on that one.
I'll give you 22. 23? I didn't think so. AB, talk to me.
Yep, we talk about playing ahead of the sticks. You've got 2 quarterbacks that are not only sack prone but turnover prone. Watch the sequences tonight. 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down. All right, get yardage, right? Get to 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2s. If you watch which team is getting into trouble, 3rd downs, that's the team that's going to be in serious trouble tonight.
Watch for it tonight. Proppy, you're up.
I've been very impressed by Sam Howell. Hasn't been perfect, obviously, but I think it's important to note that he's making his 5th career start. But more importantly, he's gotten sacked a lot. He's on pace to have an NFL record, 108 sacks. I think they need to have quick decisions, get rid of the ball quickly, take off if his first read is covered. Curious if Eric Bieniemy and this coaching staff really places an emphasis on getting rid of the ball quickly and making quick decisions for Sam Howell.
Counselor, it's your team tonight, big boy. It's your squad.
Yeah, I actually think this is a big game. I know that's Buck's conventional wisdom, but the Bears sliding towards the Caleb Williams sweepstakes really fast. So this is an important game for them in a lot of different ways long term. But then on the other side, if Washington goes 3-2 in the NFC, which is a little watered down, they've really got strong playoff chances, in my opinion. And if they lose, it's a whole different story. So this game has major implications, at least for these two franchises.
100%, especially when the Cowboys lose to my TikTok lock of the week this week, the 49ers. They'll have 2 losses too. Boom. Coach Phil, bring us home.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm looking for is to see if Justin Fields responds. I mean, this is a generational talent athlete playing quarterback, okay? So what is he going to do? He took a real tough loss last week, took it like a man. Sometimes a short week can get you back out there rolling a little bit faster, and you can forget about that dejecting loss that you just took. Playing quarterback in the National Football League is the hardest job in sports. I don't care what anybody says. So getting back out there with a guy with that stick-to-itiveness and that determination to see what he can do tonight is a real big tale for me.
EC, did you hear what Coach Phil just said right there? He said, take it like a man. Interesting. I'm talking about when you lose showdowns to me. Just take it like a man. That's all I'm talking about. Oh, it's too bad we couldn't have a showdown tonight, but I still feel good. What an incredible crew. Enjoy the game tonight. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday night football tickets straight to the pay window. Right, Tacker Lobo, EC, AB, the counselor, Proppy, my man Coach Phil, and the snake always hovering around. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind all the time for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here at Prime Time Early Edge. Good luck tonight.